Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. I was sitting there reading the comment section, and someone had a issue with the fact that I kept calling Paris trash. Now, to be fair, it was a little kind of harsh on her. As far as calling her trash, she is pretty stupid, though. That I will sit there and defend, um, to the death. But trash, yeah, maybe that was a little kind of harsh. Her sister, on the other hand, she is definitely trash, and again, I will defend that to death. Now, going into this episode, oh Grace, 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 you are the gift that just keeps on giving. You know, yesterday I was actually pretty pissed off. One second. Yesterday I was actually pretty pissed off, and the reason why I'm not as angry mostly is because I've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning. So after this review, I'm taking my ass to bed. But that was partly the reason why I wasn't getting on here. Just my usual angry rant. And mostly because at this point it's just like she's just a broken record, and I get it. It's a half an hour show. They gotta sit there and catch people up. And so today was just more of the same thing from yesterday. Just overbearing, bitchy Grace coming at Carter. Saying things like, because Carter was like, "You don't even know me." And she was like, "I don't need to know you." Wow, that's very mature. That's a very, very intellectual conversation you have going on with this man. You just come at him yelling and kicking and screaming like I don't even need to know who you are. I I think it's pretty obvious I don't like this woman. Um, but it's just the same nonsense over and over again. Zendaya is this, Zendaya is that. You're just like, sweetheart, if you like Zendaya so much, why don't you go out with him? Okay? I mean, she's so busy sitting there pushing Paris to be with Zendaya because he's so perfect. I was like, I don't remember seeing a ring on her finger. If you think he's so damn perfect, why don't you be with him? Since her daughter deserves the best and this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. It was just the same nonsense. I got to a point where it's like, I just stopped writing notes at that point. I was like, screw it. It's just pretty much the same thing from yesterday. Um, and once again, she says, I'm going to tattletale on you and you're going to lose your job if you don't sit there and stop being with Paris, blah, 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 blah. Now, Paris walks in the room and then he looks mad. Like, he looked like he was like, ugh. Um, and at first, Katie tries to cover, but then Zenda's like, "Oh, we don't keep any secrets," and Katie leaves. I'm sitting there thinking, "Okay, cool. So we gonna get down to business, right? You gonna really sit there and tell how you feel? You gonna tell a little bit of anger and frustration that you feel, like you're feeling lost and you don't know where you're at in this relationship. You gonna talk about that? Nope. We're just gonna sit there and continue kissing her feet, just acting like everything is fine, it's cool. Like you just had that look of anger on your face. We're just gonna act like that didn't happen. Okay, cool. And that's literally what he does. I sit there and I watch. I'm like, Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? I wish I could sit there and say it was a joke, but it's not. All he says is the same thing that he's been spewing for, I don't even know, as long as I've been watching this. Um, he wants to be with her, but he understands that he doesn't want to pressure her. They start asking about each other's dates. Now, here's the thing. Zende asks, Paris a series of questions, and towards the end, he's like, "So, how was your date? It's like, did you go on a date with anyone? Did you go out on a date with anyone?" I'm sitting there thinking, okay, you just asked her, did she go on a date with anyone? And Paris just act like that question did not exist, and it just pretty much went nowhere. Um, and then she comes back to Card and she's like, "Well, I don't want to sit in her Paris, but I'm all confused." Again with the confusion, she may want to kissing you. I mean, this woman, whenever she gets confused, she just kisses. You know, she just kisses the confusion away. That's what she does. The sad thing is that I'm trying to sit there and make light out of this, but come on, sweetheart, you were so confused about how to go about turning him down and your feelings, your emotions. You could have just went to bed or did a number of other things, go jogging. You decided to go to Carter's office or the Carter's Carter's office, and then you kissed him because you was just so confused. Now she's confused again. I'm sitting there thinking, Carter, so you're gonna sit there and tell her about her overbearing. We try not to use the B word. Um, Here's the thing. I'm trying not to sound like a dick. I really am. But that level of it got to a point it's like I can't even sit there and look at her facial expression because like that was just getting me a little like even though I don't want to say I'm dead tired, but even though I'm kind of tired, she was still like, you are just raising my blood pressure, woman." But I'm sitting there thinking, so Carl, you gonna sit there and tell her that you can't really here's the thing. I don't. Okay, let me just take this back. I don't think that he was going to sit there and tell her about her overbearing mother, but I thought he was going to sit there and say, you know what, listen, this isn't going to work out. Um, we're just not really meant to see each other. You got a boyfriend. Why don't you be with him? Be happy. Some excuse. Instead, I think he has an even worse idea. Okay, I think he has an even worse idea. He tells her, why don't we just, see each other tonight? And it'll be a night that you'll never forget. He's gonna do, right? I give you a second to really sit down and ponder that. He finds some woman, or maybe someone on the show, either a model or maybe even Katie, I don't know. And he hooks up with that person in order to get Paris to back off from him. And she goes right back to Zende and pretends that she's happy and that she realized that he's the one for her. And even though she is not all the way in, it's clearly enough for Zende. Also, Grace goes to Zende office and practically pushes Zende to be with um Paris. And Zende was like, "Listen, we kind of got this non-exclusive thing that's going on," and I'm like, Grace, what is your plan? What are you gonna sit there and tell him? He should sit there and try harder. Like he should sit there and not see anyone. I mean, she's the one that actually set those terms. What are you gonna sit there and tell her? I'm pretty sure whatever it is, it's gonna be overbearing and kind of obnoxious. So I'm so looking forward to that. So, and I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but at this point, they're doing it, so why not? Um, Steffi wants to sit there and make sure that Douglas is telling the truth. Now, I complained the last time that Hope was like, "Hey, I want to hear the story again. Tell it to me again from the top. Go." I get it. The kids, they say one thing, they may come back to you and say something completely different. So I understand that from I understand that from a psychological point as far as kids being kids. I get that. Okay, I get that. Like, mentally, I get that. With that being said, the same problem I had when Hope was sniffing asking Douglas, I need you to tell me that story again. Steffi is like, can you bring Douglas out here? I'll be sensitive, but I need you to sit there. I need you to bring him out here so you can sit there and tell me that story. Douglas comes out, and Thomas is like, I need you to sit there and tell Steffi the story again. And Douglas is like, I already told you. And they're both like, oh well, one of them I forgot who was like, yeah, but we just want to hear it again though. I said, awesome. sit there and just waste more of the little time that we have left on the show. That's great. But it is a part of her. Well, there's one part before and after where she's not there looking at Ridge and Brooke, and she's just like, damn Brooke, always not there, like just crapping on her pretty much. Um, Now after, Steffi heard it again, and even though Thomas is like, he's a kid, you know, Steffi's like, mom coming back from a reason, they can get back together, this could be great for dad. The same things, the same thoughts that she had the minute that that man said, I do, and put a ring on Brooke's finger was probably the same thing that she's sitting there thinking now. So now, Thomas is like, listen, we can sit there and go to Reg and Brooke. We can sit there and tell him everything. Brooke would deny it. Douglas is a kid. Who do you think he's going to sit there and believe? Steffi at this point is like, all right, we gotta get some proof. I don't know what proof they're gonna get, um, but it's gonna be proof. Now, I am glad. In some ways, I'm glad that they are taking this route to some extent. Because if Steffi would have came to Ridge, they would have had a big blowout argument. Ridge might not have actually believed Brooke, or Ridge might have actually believed Brooke, had a little bit of doubt, but just being like, Steffi's just being Steffi. Then the truth would have came out later on, which would have made him look even worse. But if Steffi can actually get proof of this, then the story can be a little more interesting, and they can kind of take their time with it. Normally, I'm not all for drawing out a story. Obviously, Nixon Falls, GH. I'm not getting over that. But in this case, I'm with it as long as it doesn't take too long. Which too long for a soap opera is just whenever the hell they feel like actually getting through it. And the last scene is almost rinse and repeat, except for the fact that, Rich was like, oh, I went to talk to Deacon, and guess where he was at? A bar, surrounded by alcohol. I sat there and I was like, Rich, I get it. Deacon, alcohol, history, we got it. I got it. I haven't even watched this show back then, and I get it. You like somebody needs to sit there and remind this man. And I thought Brooke was gonna sit there and say, that Deacon does work there, right? No, she didn't because she's too busy sitting there feeling guilty. And there was a part where again, Douglas was like, I didn't want to sit there and say anything, but I felt really bad not saying anything and not telling the truth and just kind of holding it all to myself. So yes, Brooklyn. Brooke is definitely winning a lot of points being best grandma. But Brooke just kind of stands there. She's crying. She's upset, or she's tearing up. And Ridge says the usual supportive, complimentary stuff that he's been saying since the beginning. But he does sit there and say, I went to talk to Deacon, and then he was like, Deacon said that, I don't really know you. He's trying to protect you. There's things I don't know and stuff like that. And that's when Brooke's eyes just kind of like bulge out a little bit like, what did he say? I like she just had that look like I could have swore Hope told me that Deacon was going to keep his damn mouth shut. And now he's just sitting there just dropping breadcrumbs. Um, and we already talked about that whole why he said it because of, well, manhood and pride. Let's just be real about it. But yeah, not gonna lie, didn't really go anywhere else. I'm pretty sure Brooke is probably gonna have a conversation about Deacon about when I need you to sit there and shut up and just keep your mouth shut and not say anything, I mean, like, don't drop any clues or anything like that. I feel like I'm dealing with the monkey's paw at this point. Like, I feel like that's how Brooke is going to sit there and take this. Um, yeah. Hmm, I think that's about it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get ready to get going. I want to thank everyone for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.